I think we have to talk about the like most significant thing that's maybe ever
Oh,
happened
I
in the
think so
last
too.
few decades. Um, Also, it's like evolving. So like the time of recording, it's evolved. So I don't even know where this will end up by the time this is published. Even though this is publishing in like what a day and a half from now. Um, but if anybody was unaware, Netflix has bought or offered to buy, secured the buying power of Warner Brothers for
Mhm.
82.7 billion, I think. It's an
It's something
absurd number.
crazy.
Do you know what's funny is I feel like I've been following a lot of acquisitions and this sort of news, but more so in the like gaming space. I think 'cause it happens often where like there's a lot of smaller publishers that are kind of collected up by specifically Microsoft. I think because Microsoft has been trying to like revolutionize gaming and try to make it, like a streaming space there, and like by purchasing publishers and stuff or developers, they're able to like fill out that platform. And
Hmm.
I feel like there's a few cases where it happens in the film industry, like a few major cases. Disney purchasing Lucasfilm and Marvel being like a major story, or
And
like Paramount
Fox.
Fox, and then the Paramount Skydance merger that recently happened. But like, this is, I think
It's
this
it's
blows.
the
It's
scale of it
insane.
is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Even I don't even have you seen that the President Trump weighed in on it?
I
Um,
have seen
s
some of this.
Someone asked him about it, and he was essentially like, "Yeah, the market share is massive, so don't know if that's gonna happen." Basically,
Oh, that's so interesting. Was this a public facing comment?
yeah,
Because the Netflix CEO went to him in private last month.
a week. Yeah, okay. I thought he said a week ago.
Um,
But yeah, they had conversations previous to this comment being made.
hmm.
Because I think this comment was like today or yesterday or something. But it is crazy. I on and now we're stand by what that guy. You know, the guy was in my viewing of the third Knives Out movie.
Mm-hmm.
Had his middle finger up at Netflix. I totally understand it now. I get it. The times have changed.
Yeah, last week you were like, "Hey, what's the big deal?" And now it's
Yeah,
like,
I
"Oh
wasn't
no."
familiar with like the comments they'd made specifically, and above and beyond the comments that they have made, now their actions are speaking way louder. Um, Especially since they've acquired it that they want to shorten theatrical release
By the
windows,
way,
which is crazy.
that was crazy to have had a statement, I think, come out almost in conjunction with the merger, being like, we're not going to affect Warner Brothers theatrical runtimes. That's not something we plan to do. And then in the same day, a statement come out be that no, 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 we're gonna shorten them because it doesn't. Oh, his language is so corporate. It's something like it doesn't serve the consumer. Like the model is outdated for the consumer. Talking about us all like we're fucking money.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was updated specifically the word that he used, and I was like, fuck off. Just because something has existed for a while does not make it outdated.
Also, his like argument of um people don't have a movie theater in walking distance to them. What? What? Like our society is becoming so like not individualistic. Well, I mean it is, but like we're all staying indoors. Like
Hmm.
we're losing third spaces, and as much as like people could say cinemas aren't a third space because you're not necessarily communicating with people there, you're going to watch a movie. I've had
I don't think
plenty of
that
conversations
matters.
in a cinema, and also yeah,
I,
like
yeah, I don't think you need to have a conversation for it to be a third space. But a gym's a third space, and you might go most gym experiences without having spoken to another person.
I don't speak to a single person in the gym.
Yeah, but you're all just kind of like coexisting in a space.
Isn't it lovely? Because you get the oh yeah, I've done really well, and then you're like, oh, everybody around me must think I'm really good, and then you have the opposite where you're like, fuck, I can't lift this. Everybody's
And
judging me.
I'm always in the boat of like I'm doing something, I finish a set, and then I'm like, oh, but like someone's definitely waiting to get on this machine, so like I can't
Yeah,
rest for
yeah.
too like if you're yourself, like I'm just like I can't rest for too long.
You have to climb that mountain and be like, this machine is mine
It's
now. If
my
you're going by
my
yourself,
machine.
you do have no option but to just be like,
Yeah,
I'm here. Um,
fair.
the latest news that was today is that apparently it's turning into a bidding war. So Paramount has now countered the bid and they've offered something absurd. I think it's like 109 billion to counter it. I mean, this is all very surface level as well. I mean, the financial reports are a little bit more in detail where it's like the amount per stock and the amount per person and whatever. There's so much because it's, I mean, it's a massive merger. I think people's hesitancy towards Paramount getting it has been who Paramount is ran by at the moment, and a lot of people saw Netflix as the lesser of two evils. I mean, at least they were going to keep like making art in the same way, or we hope. With Paramount, they're very much in the pocket of the current administration in the states,
Yep.
and also
Yep.
they have ties to Saudi Arabia at the moment, which is fun. I mean, just recently, Rush Hour 4 has been put into development because President Trump expressed an interest in it, which
That's
is,
insane.
yes, yeah. Um, so I feel like I saw a lot of people being like, oh, but it's the lesser of two evils. We shouldn't be in a place in the world where we're having to justify every action that's made
As
by
the
things that
lesser
we
of two
can't control as the
evils.
lesser of two evils. It's like,
Yeah, yeah. Like every time there's like an election in whatever country it's in, it's like, oh, but it was the lesser of two evils. I think you're slightly more checked into this than I am. Everything you said thus far, I think I knew,
hmm.
but the fact that Universal was in the running at some point, I don't know much about that.
Yeah, Comcast. I mean, that's the extent of it. The three of them were just in a bidding war. That was behind closed doors.
That was a
Um,
while ago, though, no? That started.
I mean, technically, no. I think Warner Brothers went up for sale in October,
Right.
and this has all happened fairly speedy. I mean, you have to imagine it should happen quickly because it will take forever for this deal to go through. It
Mm.
has to pass so much red tape, um, for this to even be a thing. It needs to pass so many jurisdictions and like, or like government boards in like the U.S. and the EU, and there's antitrust laws for all of this. But um, I actually have no idea where this is gonna go. I know a lot of people in the industry are like fighting back against this, but they put it up for sale. So, like, what are they gonna revert back and just be like, oh no, we're gonna keep the studio now? It's fine. Like,
I
I
mean,
think
yeah,
somebody walks away with it.
I'm assuming they were struggling as a studio, if they've thrown it up for
Uh,
sale.
yes, but also no. I think this year they reported seven. By the way, if people are listening to this, I might have my numbers slightly off, and I do apologize. But they had seven consecutive movies released in cinemas that all earned over $100 million, which is crazy. And
Hmm.
they've had massive successes, both financially and um,
Critically.
critically, I guess. Yeah. So you have like One Battle After Another, Sinners,
Hmm.
Weapons, Superman. Um,
They're actually doing quite well.
yeah, some of the major releases. No, F1 wasn't them. The major releases were by like Warner Brothers this year. It's just crazy for this to even be a
Even be
conversation.
happening.
I've just thought of it
Yeah.
in with the Netflix model if that goes through. I saw somebody complaining about this on TikTok, and I think it's so real. I'm glad I saw a lot of the films at uh, London Film Festival because the planning you would need to do to ensure that you see the things that you want to see is just kind of crazy. Like Blue Moon, a Richard Linklater film starring Ethan Hawke, and a plethora of other people, um, was in cinemas for 2 weeks, and it was maybe showing once or twice a day. And then yeah, I mean your whole rant about like the world isn't built for like people who
Don't get me started. It's built at least the UK is built for students and pensioners.
well, if a screening is during the day, most people can't go to it. So you're talking about like one screening per day for 2 weeks for a movie from a hugely acclaimed director starring a massive actor. Like that's crazy. And then it just goes, and then you can't see it. And then what? You have to just wait ages until it like comes out. I I just find the notion of that kind of mad. Obviously, you can go to like smaller independent cinemas and stuff, but not everybody has a smaller independent cinema nearby. They are normally more expensive. Like, there's I don't know, just added.
Sounding like the Netflix CEO there.
Don't you dare.
Yeah,
I spoke to a friend though about Knives Out. A friend who doesn't
hmm
go to the cinema, and he went to see
I
Knives
know
Out.
the friend.
You do know the friend, but
Yeah.
it really it baffles me because I'm like, well, their model sucks because if they had it in the multiplex cinemas, people would show up for those films. He was quoted in saying Barbie and Oppenheimer would have been just as big an event if it had premiered on Netflix, and I think that is an
Whoa.
insane thing to say.
There's no culture behind it if it's on Netflix. The whole thing is like going out and being with people and
Hmm.
experiencing that thing together. Like
I would
what
even say
nobody's
like Stranger Things. Is there still a
on a
culture
big
around
screen.
Stranger Things?
They c- Mm. I don't think so. I think I think I mean it's still there obviously, but
Yeah.
things change so quickly, and I think that the gap between every season of Stranger Things getting bigger has meant that it has died down a bit. And to your point about like having things in screens, I think they could have kind of built up to that. Like they could have had it in cinemas, and that'd be so cool. I know they do, and we've talked about this before, and that we'd like to watch the finale and things in the cinema, but it's something that they haven't done. I think him saying that Barbenheimer would have been as big an experience at home is fucking wild.
Mm-hmm.
People do watch parties, but they're not for films that drop on streaming platforms. They're more for like weekly television. It's a completely different ball game, and people nobody would have done that for Barbenheimer. That's fucking wild.
Like you're not like there will be the odd few people I think on social media especially that be like, oh, we've had a Barbie party or an Oppenheimer or whatever. Your average person would have not done that, and
No,
I
you do
don't
them
think they
for
even would have
films that
watched
you've
them
all
back to
seen.
back.
Yeah. No, you're probably right. I think that there's something about having already paid for your ticket or already being in a location as well that
Mm-hmm.
has, and like because there's an atmosphere with all these people that you want to do the two things together. Like sitting at home, it'd be so easy to just go, watch the other one like tomorrow or something, and then just not do it.
Yeah,
Like everyone's losing out in that experience.
totally. I mean, we I think we spoke about it at some point, but like they released K-pop Demon Hunters in the cinema. They're aware that it makes money. I think it's so anti like people this model.
Yeah, yeah. It's very separationist, the word. Like everyone in their own homes.
Yeah,
Um,
it's. I mean, like even think about Stranger Things. Like the way that that's releasing, you miss out on like the conversation week to week of different things. Like
yep.
it dropped. I don't know how long ago now, but like I don't think there's a massive conversation around it because the internet is like that. It's rapid. At least with like something that stays in a cinema, you're going to get like repeat viewings or people who are seeing it for the first time a little bit later because they couldn't initially, or things that like cause like a cultural moment because of word of mouth. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm so anti it.
Yeah, it's not like things are found in a cinema. Like that experience is found. Whereas when you're like, especially with people that don't necessarily go to the cinema all the time as well, um, someone that is so lax about it and would walk in and be like, "What's on?" And it's the first time
Yeah,
they've gone
yeah,
to
yeah.
the cinema in a long time. Like they would find that thing and then express their joy and having found it. Whereas like something like Stranger Things, is on a streaming service. You don't necessarily find things as much in streaming services as much as they're pushed to you. And because they're on that and easily accessible, suddenly like the novelty's gone of that thing as well. Um, yeah, it actually is weird thinking about the fact that that did come out a few weeks ago. It's still on my mind, and it's probably still on yours because we are big Stranger Things fans. Um, but the most I've seen of it is like their accounts releasing stuff and not necessarily people talking about it
Hmm.
past that first week.
Yeah. I do think it works in favor of TV, like streaming, and that. As you say, you can have watch parties and things, but then I don't know. That's that. This is slightly different. That's like weekly model stuff versus whatever. But
Which we miss.
hmm,
Bring it back.
yeah. Oh well.
God,
Well,
can you imagine they
welcome
get
to.
HBO?
They will.
Yeah, no,
That's
I
part of
mean,
the
but like,
deal.
but I understand that, but the whole like bidding war thing, I'm not going to assume that Netflix gets complete control yet. If Paramount's now pushing its way back
Yeah,
in
but you
with a
don't
bigger
want that
deal.
either. Like,
No, I don't want it.
hey,
I'm
DC,
just
by
not
the
going to
way,
put this
shut
possibility
down
away.
because that shit's woke. Like,
I know, that's the one that keeps coming into my mind if Paramount gets it. Sorry, what I meant more along the lines was like imagine Netflix gets it and then does what the worst with it.
uh, yeah, like I don't know, the new season of what HBO shows are on. Jesus, I feel like
Well,
all I
you
watch is
watch The White
HBO.
Lotus every
Oh
time
yeah,
that new
like
season's
if
out.
that dropped as a binge,
Yeah,
no, no. I
yeah.
could talk about this at length because that annoys the shit out of me. But let's not. Let's move on to episode. Welcome, I guess, to episode number 50.
Yeah, big round number.
Of months ago. I'm Jack,
I'm Owen.
and this week we're talking about eternity. Yes, rom-coms are back, baby. I feel like every time a rom-com is released, that is the sentiment that is expressed. Like, thank God, a modern
They're
rom-com.
back.
And then we don't see a rom-com for ages, and then the cycle repeats.
It's
Um,
not ages. It's just not as frequently as they probably were back in the day. There's probably like two a year,
that's
but the
not
whole
frequent.
of but the whole of film has like downsized in terms of like the big films that are in cinema.
Yeah, it's
Like
blockbusters.
this, yeah, like the stuff that actually gets made now is downsized. So like proportionally, I reckon it's probably not changed.
Yeah, because it's become streaming slop. Sorry, Netflix catching strays in this intro as well.
Yeah.
um, and we'll be chatting about the latest Doctor Who.
The war between the land and the sea. I can see you're
Yay!
so happy with it, Jack.
Yay! And by the way, people can probably listen to that spoiler free because it's the first two episodes, and I've only seen one.
Can we just get
Um,
that out of the way then?
you want to start with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're here. If you didn't know, because I messaged Owen last night
I
at a stupid
think I was
time,
asleep at that point actually. Um,
like, oh, did you know this is out? The show is called The War Between the Land and the Sea, and we've been talking about when this spin-off was eventually going to come out because it's been in the works for ages. Um, and I knew it was December. It just wasn't on my brain. And I was scrolling TikTok and I saw it was an ad of like Russell Tovey being like, "What is this about?" And I was like, "Oh, that's coming out soon." Went to do you know when you like scroll on an ad, like you try to look at the profile, but it takes you to a website instead?
yeah, it's the worst thing in the world.
It's awful. So I scrolled, and then it took me to BBC iPlayer, and it was like the first two episodes you could watch. I sat there and I was like,
Yeah,
"What?
yeah.
What?"
I don't know why I knew it was out because from that text, I think I replied and I was like, yeah, it's terribly advertised. I kept being like, when the fuck is it out? I think I don't think they put dates up as far they might have just said a month. I had to go look it up to be like, and this was like maybe a week or two ago to be like, when is this actually out? because I knew it was in December or January. It turns out it's both. It's December here and January on Disney Plus, which is an interesting model. And I think it's two, and one in terms of the release for the episodes.
Oh, okay.
Might have that wrong. I think it's only 5 episodes. Could be six. Um, but yeah, it's really bizarre. And honestly, I probably saw Russell T Davies post about it on Instagram, and then that would have been what made me realize.
Yeah.
Because they did a, I think I saw an image that was like a edit of the image, the poster for the show, and it was the Third Doctor and a Sea Devil, and it was them promoting the fact that they'd recut the original story and stuck that on BBC iPlayer, just for like modern audiences or whatever. So I intend to watch that. I think I got about 20 minutes into it, but I was busy.
Joy. I'm sure tons of people are going to tune into that as well.
It's already been on Jack, actually.
Oh, sorry. If you're unaware of what this is, it's a spin-off of Doctor Who, from when they were trying to make this the MCU before it all flopped and failed. Uh, um, it feels honestly like outside looking in, it just feels like dregs that they're like, oh, yeah, this is happening. They're not like pushing it, or as far as I'm aware. Um,
Um, it doesn't feel like that to me, but it feels like not in terms of like from a business standpoint, but from like an audience standpoint. I don't see this being something that people are enthusiastic about.
sure, yeah. But I also don't see the business advantage of people being into this. They're never going to continue it. It's a limited series of like this that doesn't have really any connection.
Hmm.
I don't know. I feel really weird, but I think they're trying not to link it to Doctor Who as well.
I mean, you could say the same thing about other shows that they did.
What do you mean?
I mean, they did another spin-off, which was not good, so it's maybe not a good point to make. It was called Classing that had one
Mm-hmm.
season. Um, but like the Torchwood and things, I don't know if they knew they were going to do more seasons. That could have been left at one.
Yeah, I mean more so
Um,
like with their, it's not being continued like Disney Plus. Like,
they've not. I think they said that the universe wasn't going to just go away though. I don't think that's something that they're going to, shut down. I think it will just shrink a bit for the time being.
hmm.
I guess it really depends because if they're doing away with Russell, and I think he was the big like curator behind that, um, there might be that the next person that comes along doesn't want to continue it.
Mm.
I don't know. Again, I don't know the ins and outs of it, so
It's
it could
interesting.
result in anything at this point. But yeah, I think they're it's like in the Doctor Who universe, but they're trying not to connect it too much.
Hmm. Um, yeah. So you could watch this if you haven't watched Doctor Who. I don't know why you would because, um, anyway, get to my thoughts. Um, it is about Russell Tovey, who is a very low class. I'm sorry, not low class, low ranked person within UNIT, which is their like FBI, CIA sort of in universe thing, but they deal
Hmm.
specifically with aliens.
Hmm.
He is a what do they call him? Like a taxi? Like he books
I can't
the
remember what like
transportation,
he's like a transport guy, and he books everyone's taxis.
but he gets thrust into this world of like the higher ranking officers dealing with, and now pardon me, I don't know their official name. I know them as the Sea Devils or the Homo Aqua.
Yeah.
Um, the race of like creatures that have lived on Earth alongside us, and they're investigating a killing that's happened of one of these creatures, and thus begins a war between
A war
end
which
the
isn't a
sentence.
the land and the sea.
Whoa, incredible. Um,
Um, so a war which isn't a war. You probably don't care about me spoiling the show for you.
Are we
Um,
spoiling this?
no, no, but I guess it it isn't a war yet.
Oh,
If it
sure.
ever
Yeah,
will be
yeah.
one, I don't. It could
I
just be
don't think
like
it
a
will.
catchy, it's more of a Cold War.
Sure.
Um, look, I've seen two episodes. I thought it was fine. I was never really excited about it at any point.
Mm.
You haven't seen episode two yet. They do something which I think is supposed to be really impactful, and it is a little bit, but I also just found it, and it's supposed to be kind of dramatic, but I find it quite funny.
Okay.
So you'll see when you get there. Uh, yeah, the whole thing is, I don't want to say I'm disappointed by it because I never really had high hopes, but because I have seen Torchwood season three, and that is written by Russell T Davies, and it is like a political thriller, and it's like there's no budget in that show, and it's very much just people talking in like Parliament and stuff. Um, it's funny to come to this and not see that level of writing.
Yeah.
There's some really awful stuff already.
Yep.
Just in episode one. Um, there's the joke about the gay water.
Yes, it
At some
does.
point,
Yep. I on it.
which
So I have
which
a
is like
theory
what?
behind that. I was like, Russell Tovey is known to be like a gay man,
Uh,
like outside of acting. I wondered if they wrote that in to be like, ah, see, straight man makes gay joke. I I couldn't think of why that was a
I
joke.
felt very like 90s, early 2000s kind
Yes,
of joke or sentiment towards like gays, I guess. It's just a really weird bit. Uh, there was something else. Oh, they do talk about the Doctor, and that felt really forced.
yes.
There is a lot of stuff that like there's a lot of just he's just not given a lot of great lines. Like I don't think his dialogue's very good, and then I think
It's
like he's doing as much as he can performance wise with what he's been given,
mm,
and it's very much like, "Wha- what is that? What is that? That can't be me. I can't be
it's
here. This is
it's
what?
really high. It's what?
Yeah,
Oh
it
no!
really is. Yeah, yeah. It's like very kind of cartoon.
Hmm.
And it's weird to be sitting watching. I think I maybe got about 10 minutes in, and I felt like I was watching uh the kind of like it was made for an audience that Doctor Who should have, and what the Doctor Who we were watching was made for an audience that like a even younger generation should
Mm,
have.
mm.
Like it didn't feel like this was like the adult,
Oh,
more
interesting.
highbrow
Yeah, yeah,
version of
yeah.
it. That, for example, back in the day, you had like Torchwood, Doctor Who, Sarah Jane Adventures. Those felt like three different levels, and it feels like these shows have been shifted down.
Mm, mm.
Um, so it was very much I was sitting there and I was like, I'm not. It's lacking like oomph. Um, so yeah, I'm not enjoying it right now, and I don't think it's going to get better. But I also don't think it's going to get worse.
Mm. I think this is maybe the best thing they've made in a very long time, and that's
Like
saying
80 years or
something.
something.
Yeah. Um. I. I don't. I think I maybe you put it a really like succinct way. I was expecting something, I guess, a little bit more highbrow. Not even like highbrow, but just more like that HBO, that gritty quality, like more political and whatever. And immediately in
Yeah.
the first episode, they escalate it so much that I entered the first episode like, well, why isn't like other people involved? Why are like I know this is unit, but this is now like a worldwide event that's like
Hmm. Well,
I don't know.
Unit is worldwide, but they always make it the
In
UK.
London, yeah.
Because I guess British show, whatever. There is like more of the like the rest of the world and how they
Oh yeah,
interact
shot of
with it, and then
Shanghai.
and the next episode,
Oh, okay.
not,
But
but it's
barely.
not, it's barely anything. So like, I'm not saying look forward to or anything. I'm just
Okay.
saying like there is a mention.
It also feels like the show wants you to be so invested in Unit because like Kate shows up and look, this is every single time she shows up, she gets an entrance like this, so it's nothing to do with this show because people know like she people like her like cool entrance, but then she enters, and then you have all the little like side unit people, and they all get like a like look to camera like I'm back, and I was like, but we saw you maybe 2 episodes of the previous season, and you maybe had 3 lines, and I meant to be like, oh yeah, I, like
I,
there's a whole dynamic between Kate and the guy that she's like dating or whatever, and in the first episode it's meant to be like, ooh, they're bickering, and then they keep cutting to like one of the other employees who's like, like, oh, like I don't care. You haven't made me care in this show.
I think it's not that bad here, but uh, Kate Stewart is a Stephen Moffat invention, and I think it should have maybe stayed that way because I feel like because he invented that character, as far as I'm aware, because I think she's in like another show or something, like maybe some spin-off. But he was the one that utilized her and like knew how to write her.
Yeah.
Um, I think Russell misunderstands her, and that even is shown in her name. She was Kate Stewart when Stephen Moffat utilized her, and she became Kate Lethbridge Stewart. And I think the whole point of that was that, her dad was a very important figure in Unit. She wanted to be self-made and own her own actions, whereas Russell's come in and for some reason and changed it so that she uses that name now. And I think even that is a misunderstanding of who that character is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
I don't know. It's just weird because you didn't build them up enough in the previous seasons for then you to care, and then immediately, I mean, it's sort of 1 episode, but I'm like, okay, so you're playing the same role that you do in Doctor Who, like your random side characters that get like little quippy lines.
hmm.
I could not tell you. Oh no, I'll start. Russell Tovey, I agree, is maybe doing the best he can with like shocking writing. Um, I this the way that they get into the setup is so convoluted. I was actually like I thought I missed something. This is like the first few minutes. This isn't
You
really
mean
a
you
spoiler.
just mean the bit of him getting to like that island.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he basically, as I kind of said in the plot, he's like he doesn't have the clearance for this mission, but he has a phone that he's kept, which is the backup of another guy who has the clearance, who he covered for once, and he's been left on the HR file as his replacement. So he gets into a taxi and boards a plane where he can't log into um, Unit with his clearance, so he has no briefing on what he's going to do.
Which is one field. It's not a
Yeah,
username and a password, it's a
it's just
single
a password.
field.
Yeah. um, and he never mentions it until he does. He mentions it to another guy there, and the guy just goes, "Oh, I should talk to you," and puts his headphone in.
Who he knows. He walks over
Yeah,
to him and he says something to him that's like, I know you.
yeah,
But if he was showing a file with people's faces, we didn't see that. So it makes that next bit really confusing and like unless
yes.
you have to think back about it.
And it takes something like an event to happen for him to go, by the way, I shouldn't be here. And then they say, no, you should be. Unit has a law where whenever we do something like this, one civilian must be present. And
Yeah.
you're that civilian.
It's ridiculous. And
It's insane.
I can't say I mean I kinda hate it. But I also like I understand it for Unit, like specifically. Presumably because it's like a trickle down thing of the Doctor always has a civilian with them, and they've decided to build that into like their ethos as like whatever, not company, but whatever they are,
But
military.
you tell somebody that. You say, hey, by the way, you're a civilian. You're coming on this mission. That you can get around all of it. You have him working at a desk at the start of the show,
Yep.
and suddenly somebody from upper management comes down and they go, "You're going on this mission." He's like, "Oh, but I've got my family, my daughter. We've taken care of it." He boards the plane. Setup's done. You don't have to jump through 5 hoops. The writing makes no sense. So I'm sitting there 20 minutes in, going, "Come
I think that's something that was just supposed to be really funny and just ended up being,
on."
like you said, something we had to kind of like swerve around until we
Uh
get to
huh.
like the meat of the first episode, which lasts about 10 minutes.
Yes, because the majority of the time it's just people being like, you don't know anything." My favorite line was a woman who's like, "I had to go to St Andrews and work years for my
Oh,
degree.
yeah.
You just get here." I'm sorry. It is a step up from Dot 2.
Oh,
It's
oh,
1000%
for
a step
sure.
up. But
I think it would have struggled not to be. I actually, there was just a lot of like on location shooting that had
uh
me
huh.
like, oh,
It
like
looks
this
good.
is what we're missing. Yeah, it definitely looks a lot better. I mean, I really like the creature design
So do
and
I.
a lot of the visual effects and stuff that went into it.
I think it's maybe the
Um,
best creature they've had in this new iteration.
yeah, something that both both Russell and Stephen were good at as well was bringing
Uh
back
huh.
old creatures and then utilizing them, and especially updating them. Chibnall for some reason kept he'd come in and he used the Sea Devils with Jodie, kept them
Mm-hmm.
exactly the way they were. He brought back the Santarans, but as they looked in the old era, which Russell T Davies had updated and Stephen Moffat had used. And then Russell T Davies had updated the Cybermen, and so had Stephen. And then Chris Chibnall came in and went, "Nah, we're going to make them look the old way again." Like both of these writers like had decided to come in and update things, and again Russell's done it here, and I think it's good
Mm.
because the Sea Devil design was really outdated. It was very like rubbery suit kind of thing, and these look cool, and I think they're meant to be related to the Silurians in some way. Might have that wrong. Which yeah, and Steven updated them, and then now they look kind of similar, so I think that works, and I like them showing like other species, and we've not gone into that, and I don't think we have to. It's like,
Oh,
oh,
you
there's
mean
another society.
big fish?
The big fish. You don't like big fish.
No, just fuck that line. Fuck every line that was like, uh, sea devils is that's before we had knowledge. Well, let me call him Homo aqua.
No, no,
Sir,
I
please, it's
I
Homo
like
blah blah
that because
blah
of how
blah.
stupid it was. Because he calls him Homo Aqua. She goes, well, actually, like, this is what we call him. And he goes, I'm saying it how it is. It looks like Homo Aqua. It is Homo Aqua.
Oh,
And it's dumb as shit, but it's easier for an audience member to remember. And I feel like if it's a Doctor Who villain, that's not bad.
Homo aqua.
Yeah, that's an easy thing for
I don't think that's a
someone to
great
remember.
villain name.
But Sea Devil sounds so like it does sound old fashioned. I
It,
I always was like, why are they called the Sea Devils?
yeah, I just they should have came up with a better name.
Fair enough. Um, and the big fish line I thought was funny.
Oh, really?
I think it's the actress I like. So when she delivered it, I was like, yeah.
Okay. How does the following episode follow up on episode one?
I think you expect more to happen
Oh God. Okay.
than what actually does, to be honest. And I don't know why, because again, this is supposed to be more like a political thriller, so it should be a lot of chatting in rooms. But when the chatting in rooms isn't that great, um,
Ah.
it's a bit of a fizzle and a bang.
Do we see anybody from Dot Who in this?
I mean, we already have with Kate and
Sorry.
stuff, but no, there's nobody new.
Okay. You don't
I
think
think
there's
that would
anything?
there better fucking not be. I mean, see if they had like Mel or something, that's fine. She's established.
Ruby?
She's like being part of unit. I swear to God. You know what? Just so you don't get upset and roll your eyes, she's not in it. But
Okay.
there will be a moment where you might think she is, because there's in the corner of the screen at one point there's like a TV and someone's in like a big red jacket and has like really white blonde hair. And I was like, fuck me, they've not got Ruby in for to be a news reporter now, like as the thing she's moved on to. And then it cuts back and it's the full screen version. It's just a news reporter. But for a second, I thought Ruby was in the show.
Oh, that's so funny. Who
So to save you from that.
what's her name in the show? Oh, Donna's daughter,
Oh, Rose.
Rose. Think she could appear?
I don't think she would. I
Okay.
mean, if they did, at least she'd be utilized more than she has been for the last two seasons.
Well, there's no guarantee.
Um, I just don't want them to bring back like David Tennant.
Oh, don't worry, they're saving that
Yeah,
for when
yeah, so I've heard.
anyway, that's the war between the whatever and the whatever. When he calls it the sea, I'm like, surely. Oh no, it's the Mediterranean Sea. Never mind.
You know what is interesting is the fact that they have that tube coming out of the Thames and the
Yeah.
water is sparkling clear.
Oh,
It's just,
never thought about that.
it's, it's so clear.
Oh, they purify it though, don't they?
They must do because there is then a thing in episode two about Thames water.
Oh, is there?
Um,
Okay.
but they never go like we
That's the
purified that.
Thames.
I think because it is big tube and you know that there's walls, that the assumption was just that it was just all flowing up the way. Yeah. I
Yeah.
like
Also,
sorry.
no, no, no.
I
Go
I
for it.
like I don't like it. It's really bad. It's the bit in episode one where they have built the tube and they're filling it up for the first time and it like fails. And they have to like tighten it up a little bit. And it's like this bit that's supposed to be really dramatic and you're like, why are we getting shown this?
For tension, Owen. Tension. The man has
Don't
to
know if it
just turn
works.
it 2 times and then they're all okay. Would you recommend the show?
Unbelievable. No. I did text my dad being like, it's on. He didn't really know what it was, I think.
I even the oh yeah, yeah. I wouldn't
I just
recommend
find
it.
that weird because like he obviously knew all of that when I was a kid. Like he knew the Doctor Who was coming on, and he knew when there was the spin-off, and it was like him and my mum would watch it, and I never watched it because I was a kid, and just like he was obviously tuned into that stuff. So
Because it was worth tuning in for.
no, tuned into what was happening in that
No, no,
universe,
I no, I
in the
know,
sense of like the advertisements for it were probably better.
but also because it was worth it. Like, it kind of goes hand in hand. Like, if you are enjoying something, you'll probably seek it out more.
I don't think he would have necessarily gone out of his way to try and find a spin-off for Doctor Who though.
Or like say like you're watching TV and then an ad
Mm.
appears. Like,
Yeah,
is
maybe he
there
just remembered it better.
like but also if you're into that show and then an ad appears and like hear little like links, you're like, oh, that's a spin-off or something, you're paying more
Mm.
attention. If you're watching it now, it's shit. This thing
Different kind
comes
of
on.
spin-off as well.
I just don't. I don't know. I think the market behind this is strange as well. I mean, they're who is it for?
Yeah, that was my point. The whole if it feels like it's supposed to be for a grown-up audience, and I'm sitting there watching it, being like, you could easily have your kid there watching it. This is the
Yeah,
level that Doctor Who should be on.
because I honestly think the tone of Doctor Who surrounding him is often like that anyway. Like it
The
is more
tone.
serious. Like in Doctor Who previously, the
Sorry,
tone
I
of the
think yeah, no,
show.
I get you. Was that except for the bizarre like moments or episodes or whatever, because there were a lot of like laughs and the campiness and stuff. But definitely like there were episodes that just felt for me it was watching that his car like roll up to his house, like Russell Tovey's car, and being like, this is on location. The last time that this show, the show Doctor Who felt like that was Star Beast.
Hmm.
Um, and we just haven't seen anything feel that grounded since.
Mm.
And it's so funny because it was such like a like that first season of the modern show was such like a kind of a Jaws-esque thing of like we have no money, so we do what we can with what we've got. And so like everything was on Earth or on a space station, and they did not have the budget to do anything that was on a different planet. And it just worked for the show, and it meant that they could make something that was really grounded and gritty.
Mm.
And we should go back to that, even though we have a ton of money now, or did.
Yeah, not anymore. Bye. Oh well. Um, that's that. That's gonna keep
Yeah,
chugging along. Don't worry, you're not gonna have Dot 2, but I think if it's Sunday, the what, 7th? Oh yeah, like just before Christmas, you'll get the finale of this show. Ah, yes,
woo,
love it. Moving on to something vastly different. Eternity. This is the latest movie by David Frayne, I think is how you pronounce his name. I actually have seen one of his movies before. Um, he made a movie called Dating Amber, which was a Irish rom-com that's fantastic. That I would highly recommend people seek out. It's about a gay guy and a lesbian at school, and they're both closeted, and they decide to date each other so that people think that they're straight. It's a great, great movie. A nice little coming of age rom com. This is his follow up to that, I think, which is kind of crazy because that was a while ago. This movie is starring Elizabeth Olsen, Callum Turner, and I was about to call him Mr. Fantastic, Miles Teller. Um,
that's sorry.
I
What?
know
Like, how
I
are
have
you gonna pull
everything. I
that?
know, I know.
Yeah.
Just on the brain, I guess. In this movie, we go to the afterlife. People pass away and they go to this kind of holding room, which we see as the afterlife, and they have a decision to make. They have 1 week to decide where they want to spend the rest of eternity. We see all these different worlds that they can pick and choose. Some really funny gags in there that I'm excited to talk about. Um,
Hmm.
and then we follow our main character, Joan, played by Elizabeth Olsen, whose husband, Miles Teller, tragically passes away. Um, I maybe don't even want to say how because
Yeah, I think that's like a whole bit.
that's yes, there's a bit, um, and he has to decide where to spend eternity. Um, bec- but his wife hasn't passed away, so he can choose to wait around for her or pick to go into an eternity. But luckily for him, on the seventh day, his wife also passes. And when she arrives at this like waiting room, she sees her husband, Miles Teller, but then she also sees her first husband, who passed in a war, played by Callum Turner. And she has a decision to make. She has a week to decide where she should spend eternity, which man she should spend the rest of eternity with. Fun little high sci-fi concept rom-com, you know.
Yep.
Um, oh, what did you think of Eternity?
I I like how you said fun sci-fi concept because that was very much like what I was going into this film for.
Mm.
Lover of bad sci-fi, like whatever it is, I will go in looking forward to see how they deal with the concept. Um, but I actually really enjoyed this. I think I enjoyed it more than I was expecting to. Um, because I didn't necessarily have high hopes for it. It looked a bit quirky, is the best way I can describe it from the
Mm.
trailers. Didn't really know what to expect from it. But like you said, the concept of being in the afterlife and having to choose to spend the eternity with one person or the other. Uh, I just that is interesting. Like, and seeing how someone makes that decision because that's a really fucking difficult decision. Um, so I was looking forward to that. I thought it was really beautiful, actually. Um, despite it feeling a bit rough and like imperfect to me.
Mm.
Like I I don't know exactly what it was missing, and I'll kind of get to that, but um, I really enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun. I thought it was actually weirdly profound, which was not what I was expecting from this film. Like what I
Hmm.
was left with was kind of a lot to think about. Um, I think the performances and the way that characters were utilized kind of varies. So, and you've frozen for me, I think. No, you're fine.
Yeah,
I can't tell if you froze for a second or if you just looked very deadpan to the camera.
you know
Um,
me.
Obviously Elizabeth Olsen gets a lot. She is the kind of center of this. And she I think she juggles it quite well. There's a stark difference, I think, in what's happening in this film with comedy, and then when it gets into the kind of much deeper moments.
Hmm.
So she has a lot on her plate there, and she has specifically. You just made me think of it when you were talking about Miles Teller's character. The point in the film where he goes to take a bite of something, and then she just like screams at him. She's like, Larry, just that little bit actually really made me chuckle. Um Miles Teller and Callum Turner are obviously the other leads in this. I think Miles Teller gets so much more than Callum Turner gets.
Hmm.
And I think that's a real shame because I was already like, this is a really difficult decision for the character of Joe to make, but it would have been even more difficult had we really got to see who these people are and were
Hmm.
than kind of what we got. Um, and I'm not saying it wasn't something that I was still watching, being like, who's she going to choose? But it would have been nicer to have fleshed out Callum Turner's character more.
You actually felt that there was a degree of like you didn't know where this movie was going.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if they were going to play by the
Oh.
rules or if they weren't, and because they set up rules that you'd assume that you have to follow, and then I wasn't sure how they were going to get around it, um, or if they were, if they weren't, blah blah blah. Because you never know with a kind of like sci-fi film. Um, so if they were going to have to choose one, I still wasn't sure exactly what they were going to go with, and I think the film has fun with that. Fun's maybe not the right word, but again, try not to spoil it. The I think I have it written down here somewhere, but I think you would have liked the comedy. I wasn't a big fan of the comedy. Like some of it was funny, some of it I just felt like landed a bit flat for me.
Why do you think I
Um,
would enjoy it?
I don't know. I feel like we have a different taste in like I'm very like American comedy.
What parts are you specifically talking about?
The quippy side characters.
I actually fucking knew when you said that. How dare
Yeah,
you? Divine Joy Randolph, cast her in everything. I don't give a
I
shit.
do love her.
She is fucking
Um,
incredible in this.
Specifically across the board, I cared so much more about the film when we had like more real moments. And that is the same for her as well. Like she gets a very real moment at the end of this film, and I absolutely love her. Um, and that's any parts of this film that I really enjoyed were the parts that weren't comedy. Is essentially what I'm saying. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know where the
Can I
time
jump
went.
off of that?
Yeah, go for it.
Because I kind of understand what you're saying, but I don't, it's weird. I don't feel that way about the side characters. You have your main three, and basically, when you go to these eternities, they're assigned like a PA essentially
Yep.
to like guide them through it.
An
And
AC.
thank you. Um, you have Divine Joy Randolph as Miles Teller's person, and then John
Mm-hmm.
Early, who's like another John Hurley, who's like a comedian. I actually really like a lot of the stuff he's in. It is this sort of comedy, but Divine Joy Randolph, I don't know. This is more comedic than I think the other roles that she's had. I like their comedy because in my head it should balance the severity and the seriousness of the decisions that are being made by these people. It's meant to be like, look, they go through hundreds and hundreds of people. They have to be light and breezy about it because if they don't, they're only going to make that decision feel
Hmm.
more like serious for the people that are making them. I think the comedy doesn't work when it's like the three of them, like the three people who are in this like decision process, be like silly goofy because for the same reason, it's a very
Yeah, yeah,
serious decision that they're having to make for the
yeah,
rest
yeah.
of eternity. So I weirdly think that the comedy was just too much across the board, but had they reduced it with the main
Yeah,
three
yeah.
and then kept the side characters as they are, it provides
Hmm.
that levity that you
Hmm.
would maybe seek from the seriousness, and then
Hmm.
it allows those serious moments to marinate. And then when you get serious moments with the side characters, they maybe hit more impactfully because they've been
Yeah.
so up here for the entire time, and everybody else has been down here, and they match them at some point. Um, so
I'd
that's
go so
personally
far as to agree with that.
okay.
Yeah, that is probably about right.
Like Elizabeth Olsen
Um,
is great, I think, because of her like WandaVision sensibilities. She's playing an older woman who has those
mhm.
like in her body.
Yep.
Um, so she has those more like um, what's the word? Like older sensibilities or like period
Yeah,
sensibilities, I guess.
yeah.
Um, but when
Fuck,
that
what
comes through,
mannerisms, kind of that sort of thing.
but when that comes through in the comedy, I I don't know. I think it just was a little too much. I also don't think it was awful because it felt naturalistic in some points because it was like, okay,
It's
she's
just
been
case
married
by
to this
case, I
person.
think.
Yeah. I just think that the severity, especially for Callum Turner, who's waited
Yeah.
there for so long, he shouldn't have many comedic moments.
Mhm.
He doesn't really, but even when he does, it just feels a little like, eh. Yeah, I was gonna go more into him if.
Um, you could do. I have some more stuff written. Um, yeah, you know what? Crack on.
Um, yeah, I found this entirely predictable. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I just thought it was
Mm.
incredibly cliched and predictable. I had a very fun time watching it. Um, but I didn't walk away with like, oh my gosh, like profound thinking that I'd never thought in a movie before. It was more like, you know, enjoy the life that people have. Like it's the small moments in life. It's what you think this movie is going to be is what it is.
Hmm.
And I think the way that they characterized, obviously for Joan, it's a big decision because these are two people who meant a lot to her throughout her entire life. I don't think that's portrayed necessarily that well to the audience. And I think you very much are in Miles Teller's shoes
Yeah.
a lot of the time. And I think Callum Turner ends up kind of just being like a stereotype at some points. And they villainize him in a way that doesn't feel natural in a way to service where the story goes. And I think that's
Hmm.
a real shame because then it does just lean into cliche and it doesn't make it like that harrowing a choice for her to make. I think it loses all sense of that when they try to ham up Miles Teller as well into the he's the goofy guy that loves her entirely like and
The the
that's all his
buffoon.
life is about and
Hmm.
um I just think it leaned a little too heavily into that I think the concept is so interesting but I didn't think
Hmm.
I just thought it was so clear throughout the entire thing.
Well, they make a decision at some point that had me like, are they making this decision? Um, that's
Yes,
why I didn't think it was so clear because it would have actually been kind of interesting for them to have just decided
absolutely.
on that. So yeah, being kind of like moved one way and then moved the other is what made me so unsure.
I guess I thought it was entirely cliche and I knew where it was going. And then there was a little blip. And then a blip that I thought, are they going to do something even more strange?
Crazier. Hmm.
But then I was like, no, no, no. This is a movie for heterosexual people. this is this is
I
not going the
didn't
way
even
that
think
I
that's where
thought.
you were going with that, but now I know what
Hey,
you're talking about.
there's a scene that I fully was like, what the fuck is happening here? Are they?
I did have a moment.
And then they go right back to where I thought it was
That's
going.
another thing. Yeah, because that's what I was saying. Like the rules that they establish, I was like, I don't know if they're going to fully commit to them, and they kind of don't. Um, but the thing that you're suggesting there, like I was like that also like that's a possibility. Like it's not nothing was completely ruled out.
It's also
Um,
an interesting concept of like loving the people. Oh my god, my brain. Like if you're in love with somebody, you are probably going to get along with the people that love them because they've made a decision. Well, it's like you're
in
friends with
this
your
case, I know what you're
friends.
saying.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, yeah. Anyway,
Um, yeah, so the reason that I found it so profound was just coming with my experiences of relationships into this, and just I don't want to get too to depth about the decision that was made at the end of the film, but it's essentially the character Joan looking at two different relationships, and we're told this metric at one point, kind of on the run up to the conclusion, that they think to be the kind of answer, and it isn't because she then gets to sit with it and look at it a different way. And I think it kind of just is a different way of thinking about love and the people that care about you and all of those things. Um, try my best not to talk about what actually happens at the end of this film here, but it was just something that I could look at and then think about in my own life and take away. Um, and that's why I think it was profound.
I don't really know what you're getting at.
I know I genuinely can't talk about it really, but it was the kind of conclusion of the film that affected me. And I was quite emotional. I don't you cry at everything, but I'm wondering if it even hit you.
No, not at all.
Yeah. Um yeah, this hit me quite deeply actually. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I did have an experience. Um I even
You
had
cried.
here, yeah, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, it properly got to me, yeah. Um like I said, I was so much more there for the deeper moments of the film, as opposed to the comedy. And I know it's a rom-com, but I didn't care much for the laughable moments.
Hmm.
Um, I like how there was a lot of moments where they didn't care for music and they just kind of let specifically Elizabeth Olsen act.
Hmm.
I see a lot of moments. One specifically where she's making a decision, blah blah blah. I just really like that. I just like the way that that was done. Um, it looks like it was done on like a shoestring budget. I don't know what the
Yes.
budget for this film was, and that actually bothered me at one point because they do the thing of walking through like memories and things. Um, later on in the film, stuff happens, and it meant that I didn't care as much about that specific criticism. And I kind of got to look at it in a different light because I actually think their
Oh wait,
performances.
I really
What?
liked the way that that was portrayed.
Which bit?
The memories.
In the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. It was recontextualized for me to the point
You
where I
didn't
enjoyed it
enjoy
more.
it initially.
No.
Oh.
Um, but when I also think the acting was like weaker in those parts, which I ended up liking more because to me it feels like like a crappy like theater production.
Mm.
Um, which just ended up working for me in retrospect. But at the time, I was like, why, why are we doing it like this?
Mm.
Um, yeah, I think I've pretty much run through it. I like the bromance, that one bit that happens, which I think you were alluding to. And I also have read some letterbox comments that I think you'd really like.
What does that mean?
Getting away from the topic of the actual film here, but
Oh,
one
I know exactly which one you've probably
the
pulled. Can
top
I
one,
say it? Yeah,
yeah.
where's Luca Guadagnino? Yes, I mean my review was fucking about challengers as well.
Um, Also, imagine you die and instead of eternal peace, you get stuck in a love triangle. I'd say this is the bad place.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't see it, but I swear there was another good one.
People are
Lost
funny.
on me now. Yeah, there was a mention of like how this was like actually color graded, and it's not
Yeah,
muted.
yes, my God, yeah. It had,
Yep,
yeah, it wasn't grey.
yep.
Um, I honestly don't have much more to add. I thought this was perfectly fine. I like I'm. It was an enjoyable watch. Me, I didn't walk away thinking a ton about it. I didn't have
Mm,
tons of negatives. I just thought it was a cliched kind of story I've seen done before.
mm.
But I had fun.
Yep.
Um, I
I just
genuinely,
my one thing is I wish that they developed Callum Turner's character more. I
yeah,
just would have liked to have seen it a more even playing field.
yeah. But he looks like Callum Turner. That's the whole point. They say that several times.
Yeah, I mean,
Surely looks
it
don't
works.
matter at that point.
Luke's the character's name's Luke.
Oh,
Um, so bad. Surely looks don't matter at what point. At the point where it's like, oh,
they're
she was married to
choosing
both
who
of
to
these
friend
people.
with. Yeah, like she's attracted to both of them. I don't think they
That's where
need
the
to
comedy
like.
aspect came in, where she like looks at him. She's like, oh my god, like
Yeah,
those big eyes. Um,
and Callum
but
Turner's there,
yeah,
like
yeah. I mean, it works a little in the context of the film where like they keep calling him perfect, and he's like, look, I'm not fucking perfect.
yeah,
But that's about as much as he gets, and it's frustrating to watch.
yeah, and then turns out he's just a. Oh, sorry, I really should spoil it. Never mind. Anyway, I was feeling. Never mind. So you would recommend this?
Yeah, I would, yeah.
Nice. Uh, I think if you are a fan of this type of movie, sure. I think there's a lot more stuff in the cinema at the moment. I still recommend the movie. I think the movie's good, but if it's between what's on at the moment, I wouldn't suggest it.
What is even on at the moment?
It was just an accident. The
Good point.
Pandore. Um,
Is that on at smaller cinemas though? I swear that wasn't on at Cineworld when I checked.
yeah, it won't be at anywhere. It's just I don't know why. Well, I do know why. It's a film with subtitles, and I feel like that's a barrier for some reason. Um,
I mean, there are, unless you're going to an independent cinema, there are a lot worse films on just now in the cinema. I
but
think a lot worse, I'm assuming.
there's also some. Oh, but surely, yeah, there's bad, but then there's also good stuff. Pillion's out.
Oh, good point. I don't think I saw that. Like on when
Again,
I looked just then.
I think
Yeah,
Pillion
why is
is
that
actually
not?
showing in bigger cinemas as well.
It is. I don't think it's getting very. It's one or two showings a day,
I mean, that
unfortunately.
makes a lot of sense. That is 18. Like it's only for a certain audience. You're not gonna get like Lilo and Stitch money with that shit. Sorry.
Realizing I should have seen that. I actually had someone mention that to me the other day.
What Pillion?
Yep.
How did that? Did like a film
Well, they'd
person?
seen it. Yeah, I mean, well, like one of my friends had seen it.
Oh, I don't know. Like I feel like I don't know. Who do I know them?
No, you've not met them.
Oh, that sucks. So well.
I swear I have other friends.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess that's it because we did
Yeah, I mean, I do
touch
have a
it before.
question
Oh,
somewhere. Oh, I can't look at Discord on my computer. Hang on.
oh no.
Yikes. Okay. Why do you think a lot of people tend to look down on international foreign non-English films? Which are your favorite? Are there any that you would recommend as a starting point for someone trying to get into these types of films?
Oh my
I know, I
lord.
think that's just honestly people a lot of the time going with what they know.
I
And like Hollywood is
it's
such a big thing.
cyclical. It fully is cyclical. It's like we were just saying. They're not put in cinemas a ton. People then think it's not necessarily for them. They think they're more highbrow and whatever, and they like scoff at it. Um, or there's a language barrier. I know that sounds insane, but some people just genuinely go, "Oh, it's got subtitles. I don't want to watch it." What's it's like Bong Joon Ho's really famous speech that he says, you know, if you can get past a few inches on the bottom of your screen, your world will open up like entirely to you. It's
Hmm. It's funny that you say that as well, having already spoken about the whole streaming service thing of like
mm.
people need to be reminded of what's happening in a show, and it has to be said out loud, so they don't actually have to be looking at the screen. So we're
Oh
moving
yeah,
even
yeah, yeah,
further away from even being able to sit and look at and watch subtitles at the bottom of the screen.
totally. Because you have to be engaged. You fully have to sit in it. That's yeah, great point. Um,
Would you recommend what films would you recommend specifically?
that's
I like
such a mad
Three
question.
Idiots, which is a
Oh,
Bollywood
the Indian
film.
movie.
Yeah, indeed. I think it's Bollywood. A lot of singing.
This is like, hey, what's a movie you recommend that just wasn't made in
You
America? Like
you
that's
love
crazy.
Cold War.
I do love
I'd
Cold
I'd say
War.
I'd say non-English films is what we're going for here. Non-English language.
Um, oh my god, my favorite. Maybe I would say like the worst person in the world. I really like that movie. That's off the top of my head. Starting places is interesting. I think, well, also this maybe plays into it, but international cinema is often not as pacey as a lot of Hollywood stuff has became, um, which some people might have as a barrier.
Hmm.
Um, what I don't know what I would recommend as a starting point though. It also depends on the country. I think like an anime, a Studio Ghibli movie is a nice entry point probably. Like My Neighbor Totoro or um honestly Totoro is probably like an easy way in.
Yeah, I'd recommend if we're
Um
going with like anime films, like Weathering with You is a great film, and the creator of that has a couple of films as well.
I mean, I could just recommend good movie. Anatomy of a Fall was great, and I do think that's actually quite an easily accessible
Yep.
um, movie to get into. The Zone of Interest, I mean, not necessarily easy, but I think a very important movie. I really love French cinema. Why can't I think of a French movie off the top of my head? Honestly, with international
Just dive
cinema,
in.
find either if you're not from an English speaking country, find a film that your country is acclaimed for, or just pick a country and like find like there. Each country has specific people as well. Like France, you could do any Agnes Varda movie, any Jean-Luc Godard, Celine Sciamma as a modern French filmmaker. Um, Petit Maman is actually a really lovely movie that might be quite a nice entry point. Parasite, that's the answer. It is. I've shown it to people who were against subtitles, and then they walked away and they were like, "Well, fuck, thanks."
People were against subtitles.
Yes, I'm
I'm
telling
shocked that you
you.
even have friends that were against subtitles.
Hey, I didn't say friends.
Okay.
And with that, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Plot to Go. We gotta go now. Uh, but if you like this video, give it a like and subscribe and follow us on
YouTube,
and
Apple Podcasts,
and
Spotify,
and
TikTok,
and
Instagram.
and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.